Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Sports Blitz Live here on this Tuesday evening. Brett Pritchard and Jim Hardy here with you. We're going to be an hour with you tonight, and the reason being is because Auburn basketball tips off at 8 o'clock, and so we'll be interrupted over on the radio side. So we will have the replay of Auburn Blitz from earlier today on in the second hour. So we want you to get your calls in and your comments in here in the first hour of Sports Blitz Live. Jim, good to see you here on a windy, cold night here in Allen City.
Oh, man, the winds of change are blowing.
Well, more ways than one. We heard a roaring sound outside. I thought it was the wind. You said it may be the transfer portal sucking everybody in. But anyway, we'll take your calls, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Of course, you can comment away on Facebook Live. We'd love to hear from you either way. Again, like I said, Auburn tips off at 8 o'clock against Texas A&M. Alabama underway right now at halftime with South Carolina. Alabama leads by a point. It's 29-28 when I was rolling into the station here, Jim. So not
going to be one of their 100-point.
No, not an offensive juggernaut night for either team. But, you know, Alabama, I think Sears, I think it may be 30-29 because Sears has 15 of the 30. Oh, wow. So outside of Mark Sears, not much offense right now for Alabama. On the flip side, this is the first time South Carolina's trailed at halftime all year. So only by a point, though, and it's on the road. So I think they'll take that in SEC play. Some other games in action right now, Kentucky and Missouri underway. LSU and Vanderbilt also will tip at 8. So that will be your lineup for this Tuesday. But, Jim, I'm going to get your thoughts, and we'll start back. The majority of what we talk about tonight will be football. National championship game last night. Michigan basically gets it done, navigating turmoil, navigating controversy, navigating a bunch of, use Alabama's term, naysayers.
Right. Rat poison.
Yeah, they won at 34-13 last night. You know, you look down at the numbers, and the rushing yards is where the difference in the game. Neither team did well on third down. This is an amazing stat to me. When you look down, and the team that won the football game was 1 of 10 on third downs, tells me one of two things. Number one, they had a lot of big plays in the game, and they did. Mm-hmm. They had 2 big runs for touchdowns, and they didn't have to sustain a lot of drives. Number two, the other team didn't do a very good job on third down either. And guess what? Washington didn't. They were 2 of 14 on third down. So there were only 3 third downs converted in the whole game last night.
Wow. That's pretty shocking stat.
That's the 2 top teams in the country.
Well, and I had really convinced myself that Washington was going to be able to go in there and throw the ball on them like they've been doing all year.
Well, and they had the chances.
Right. And the opportunities, they had wide open passes that Penix don't normally miss, and he just goofed on them. I mean, like completely missed.
Yeah, it was an off night for Michael Penix, probably the worst night throwing the football he's had in 2.5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, again, that's sports. You don't know when you're going to be off on a particular night, and not having a running attack may have been in his head, may have hurried some of his throws, may have allowed Michigan to kind of sell out, which they did on some plays, and maybe hurried what he did. But he missed 2 or 3 wide open guys. It could have been the difference in the game. You know, Michigan ended up pulling away at the end, but Washington had it to 7 points twice.
Right.
And it pretty much stayed that way throughout the third quarter. They just could not take advantage of some opportunities.
Had they not give up the big plays to start the game, it'd have been a whole different ball game. When they busted off that big run to start with Michigan, and then letting McCarthy make a throw down there and get it up 14, that was a dagger. You
know, credit Michigan for being very balanced. Although they didn't convert but 1 third down, 443 total yards of offense. Didn't have to do much through the air. McCarthy was good when he needed to be. But Michael Penix, I want to go back to him. I don't think any – did you know what the over-under was on him touchdown passes in the game? It was 1.5.
Wow.
I would have taken that over all day.
All day.
And guess how many touchdowns he threw? One. It just – that's why you don't bet. So,
somebody got in his pocket.
Well, exactly. But anyway, his uncharacteristically bad throws to wide open receivers was kind of the difference in this game. If he's able to hit some of those guys, well, you know, it may be a different outcome.
Well, that and the stat you already brought up is 303 rushing.
Right.
That shows you right there that Michigan's offensive line could handle Washington's. And I think I brought it up in the lunchtime show today. You're looking at a 62% clip on blue chip players on Michigan.
Right.
You're looking at a 31% on Washington. So almost double the depth there, too.
You know what was a crazy stat that was sent our way during that show earlier today was Michigan had a boatload of guys that were 5th and even 6th-year guys because of COVID and all this. Now, they had a lot of to go along with what you said, had a lot of, blue-chip guys.
Right.
But, Washington had handled a lot of great teams this year and beat them pretty convincing. They beat Oregon twice, which is a huge – I really think Oregon may have been – one of the top 3 teams in the country. But and I still think Georgia was the best team in the country still, even after last night. But you look at it, and this amount of veteran players on Michigan's roster, I think, helped them too. I think you look at Michael Penix and what Washington was able to do throughout the year, they were a balanced team, although the headlines were always Penix and his passing numbers. Their starting tailback, Jim, was battling 3 injuries last night, and he couldn't get off the blocks. He couldn't make the cuts. He couldn't do the things he normally. He was probably at about 70% last night, and to me, that killed Washington's game plan.
Yeah, if you're dealing with that low in numbers on those blue chip guys, you take out a running back or a quarterback, and you made a hell of a difference.
And changed the whole schematic of the game, and again. I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a good football game. Maybe not the most dynamic. It was a heck of a lot better than watching Georgia bludgeon TCU like we had to witness last year. But, all right, so if Georgia makes it into the playoffs, do you think Georgia wins the national championship? Do you think they end up beating Michigan last night?
The only question that still jumps out at me is the 303 because Georgia had trouble stopping Alabama's run.
Yeah.
They had trouble stopping us from running. If you can't stop Auburn, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And not to say they just didn't have – they had a good run defense, but they didn't have those great ones they used to have that they had guys up there. You wasn't going to get 75 yards on Georgia in a game.
No, they did
it's the run. You know it as well as anybody does. The men up front control the ball game. So, Georgia, yes, I think if they would have been in the playoffs, we would have watched them play last night. I'm just not sure they could have stopped that running game.
Would have been interesting to see. I don't know. It's the first time in 8 years an SEC team has not been in the national championship game, and that's amazing. That's a big run there for the SEC. All right, final poll. And I saw some Alabama guys today, and, if Luke is available to call in, I'd like to hear his take on this. But if you look at the final poll, the AP Top 25, Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Georgia jumps to 4, and Alabama to 5. Now, some Alabama people upset about that. Again, it's a final poll. Who cares?
Right.
At the end of the day, I look at this as – that tells me that the AP voters thought Georgia was better than Alabama. They lost to them by 3 on a one particular night in that game. Alabama maybe made 1 or 2 more plays. But if they were to play them on a regular basis, most people would still favor Georgia. And most people felt like Georgia was one of the top 4 teams. But the committee had no choice but to bump Alabama over Georgia in that scenario because they beat them head-to-head the night before they made the decision.
Correct. But now you think about it, and here's the argument, I'm sure, which again, the polls don't matter, but here's an argument a Bama person's going to give you. We had 2 losses on the season. We lost to the number 3 team in the playoffs, and we lost to the number 1 team in the playoffs. So you can't drop us to 5 because we only lost to 1 and 3.
Well, I mean, that's right. And that's what – and they've got a valid argument.
Right.
But in the same light, Liberty is all the way down at number 25, and they're 13-1.
Right.
They didn't play the same schedule.
Right.
I'm not comparing it's apples to oranges, but again, it goes to what really those voters thought of those teams, and that's really how Alabama got into playoffs to begin with.
Oh yeah.
Because if you were going off stats and you were going off records, Florida State would have got the nod, and Alabama wouldn't. And I'm not going to go back into that controversy and do all that again. I'm just saying, in the same light, how did Georgia, who was number 1 in the country, Jim, for most of the year, the 2-time defending national champ, lose by a field goal on the last game of the regular season in a championship and go from 1 to 6?
Right.
What's the rationale there?
Now that I don't have a lot. They should have been in the playoff as well, but the committee was stuck. They didn't have a choice.
Well, for the committee's sake, they won't ever have to worry about that again.
I'm glad they got 12 now.
They got 12 now. I'm sure that the 13th team will complain. But who cares?
Right.
There's a more valid reason for a 5 team to complain about not getting in the top 4 than the 13th team complaining that they didn't get in the top 12.
And that's one of the things I was thinking about today, too, watching some stuff online. The new format that's out there, they're calling for 6 of those 12 people to go in are going to be your highest-ranked 6 conference champions. Is there really 6 conferences out there that we're going to want to have their best player, best team in?
It's a good question. I mean, not
because what do you got now, the Pac-1? I mean, there ain't like 2 teams left in it.
The whole conferences are turned up on their head. Nobody even knows who's in what conference anymore. So we're up against our first break of the show. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Experience the new standard of comfort in 2024. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika invites you to discover extraordinary deals. Like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali, now available with up to $11,000 off. But that's not all. Purchase the GMC Terrain SLE for as low as $359 a month. Visit Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika or explore these unbeatable offers anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live here on this Tuesday evening. 256-234-6221 is the number. Sunshine Heating and Air, one of our top partners here on the program, along with JR Sports Bar and Grill, been with us a long time. So shout out there to Kevin Keel and his team. Just do great work. Glad to be associated with them. Jim, ran down the top 25. Obviously, Auburn not in there. And Alabama, albeit I know that finishing 5 and not being in the championship game now for 3 years is kind of an anomaly for them with Nick Saban. I mean, still, they were a play away from being in the championship game, and I know you feel the same way I do. If they're there last night, they win the game.
Yeah.
I feel like they win it probably pretty easily.
Right.
So, even though people make out and want to try to find some imperfections, and maybe this wasn't the best year for Alabama, and let's be honest, most teams and programs would love to have a down year like this, if this is what you call your down year. But this Alabama team was still only a couple plays away from winning a championship.
Well, they were a couple plays away, but they were also a couple plays away that they might not even made it at all.
True.
I mean, the one we can point at in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn could have turned the college football world up on its head, and the SEC would not even have had a representative in the playoffs. But, hey, look, we rushed 2 guys on 4th and 31,
and
so you kind of get what you want.
And they held that one.
Yeah. Well, just don't rush 2 men.
Right. Oh, no.
How about flush the guy out of the pocket, and if he takes off and runs like he's done 2 times previous in the game's over.
Well, and that's part of breaking that play down as well as looking at it. We set a linebacker back there as a spy watching him to run. He's not going to run for 31 yards.
That's just another stupid. So I guess that leads me into Auburn. Terrible performance in the Music City Bowl.
Yes.
Just not a good look or finish to the season. You end up with another losing record. It's 3 in a row, Jim. Four years of mediocrity. 4 years ago, we went 7-6. This is not where Auburn fans expect their program to be. It's not where Auburn fans want their program to be. But all of the uncertainty and the turnover and everything that's going on in this program the last 4 years, you're seeing the result of it right now.
Well, that, and I think you guys touched on it before, when you're given, 15, 16 bowl practices, you take 8 of them.
Yeah.
Then basically, it's very clear that Hugh has put 100% into going and recruiting these kids. When he went and got the best of the best and got them to sign, he spent all his time doing that. He said, hey, Phillip, I need you to put a game plan together over here and do it for me. I hired you to do this. And it's obvious that didn't happen.
There's multiple ways to look at this. At the end of the day, Hugh Freeze or any head coach is responsible for what they put on the field. But,
no doubt.
I think it brings up a point we're going to talk about here in the first hour. Coaches are having to split their time, not just in half, but in eighths, because they've got so many things they're having to pay attention to right now. And they're having to look at transfer portal, recruiting high school kids, trying to keep their roster, and coach at the same time. They have got to change some of this stuff. And I think, again, not making excuses for Hugh Freeze, but he's saying, guys, I got to finish this recruiting class because we got to get the players we need to get a roster where we can compete. The Music City Bowl win isn't as important to me as us getting our roster right. Can y'all please go handle practice?
Right.
And obviously they couldn't get it done.
Right. Well, and that's, and I think that's the same token as you guys have already covered as well, is these meaningless bowls. Not to say that Hugh said it was meaningless, but he made the statement.
Well, you don't have to say it when you show it.
Right, exactly.
You're not putting your priorities into winning the Music City Bowl. Your priorities are, I'm going to finish this recruiting class so I can build and get my team into the playoffs next year. Because I don't care how you slice it, that's how your program is going to be judged and compared moving forward. Were you a participant in the 12-team playoff, or were you not a participant? Nobody cares about those bowl games anymore.
Nope.
They mean nothing. And all the players opting out now, you're going to have more of that. You're going to have even more watered-down bowls. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to figure it out. But as you heard Will Herring today, and we'll do that again in hour number 2, he talked about it. He said, in his opinion, the bowls are dead.
Right.
They're already done.
Right.
Heard a lot of other people say that. Kirk Herbstreit basically said, does anybody remember who won the NIT last year in basketball? He said, I sure don't.
Right.
He said, that's basically what the bowls will be in college football.
Right. And that now, if somebody, a company or a major organization with some money wanted to spend it, maybe they could go out there and do that. Take that big collective of teams and say, look, let's play an NIT, and we'll throw a couple million in the hat, and whoever wins, this is $1 million toward your collective.
And you may see that.
Yeah.
You may see something where something new is created, but the bowls as we grew up and our parents grew up, and the system the way it was started is obsolete now.
I couldn't wait to watch the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl, and now I don't really give a flip.
Nobody cares. No. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit brought up the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl, which back in the day, it was a big deal because there were only a few bowls.
Think about the names of these things. The Duke Mayonnaise Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
What in the – and you don't – man, that's not even the coach's head that wins.
Yeah, that's not even the worst. So it's a good thing Andy's not a coach on one of those teams. So he just would opt out. He'd opt out of the bowl game for sure. I think a lot of people would. But, in the whole essence of college football postseason, the reason the bowl games were so significant, and I said were, is because it was a reward for having a good year. There were only 6, 7, or 8 games.
Right.
There weren't 50 bowl games and teams with losing records going and playing in a game that nobody cares about. Now, the only thing, and we even saw it with the 14 playoff, they tried to make the New Year's 6 bowls something special.
Right.
If you weren't one of the New Year's 6 in the Final Four, it wasn't a big deal. Even those games weren't a big deal. Well, so, I mean, that's just what you've been faced with. So, I mean, I just think I'm anxious to see what happens between now and June.
Right.
Because the conferences, realignments, all that'll take place. The new rules committee will meet. What will they change about college football in the next 3 or 4 months? It's important.
It's huge because you're projecting in a thing to me going to another atmosphere with a group of teams,
right?
And they're going to leave a bunch of folks behind. Because these collectives are building on the Texases, the Alabamas, the Auburns. They're going to run off and leave, and all these schools that are sitting down there.
Gap's widening even more.
The same. You're going to look at the same 12 to 15 teams playing in that playoff.
We're going to take another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live coming up right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
New year, new adventures. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika is ringing in 2024 with sensational deals. Upgrade your drive with the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Now available with up to $11,500 off. And that's not all. You can purchase your roomy new Chevy Equinox as low as $329 a month. Visit Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika or explore these amazing deals anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live here on this Tuesday. Again, I want to remind everybody we'll be with you live for an hour here tonight. Auburn basketball tips at 8 o'clock against Texas A&M. So we'll be rolling off the air on the radio side. We'll be replaying Auburn Blitz here in the second hour from today. It was a great show, Jim. I thought it's always fun to have Will Herring on. We've had him on the last couple of months. He started to become a regular on our program. Just a great guy, and a lot of insight. Got his opinion on these coaches, and I'll get your opinion, Jim. Randy and I kind of in a back and forth on the first segment this afternoon about these coaches and what they're having to deal with in college football may make some of these guys that you would not have thought would entertain an offer from the NFL or somewhere else. Now it looks pretty good to them because they're not having to deal with a lot of this crap and this uncertainty that's in college football right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what y'all were saying today at lunch 100%, that if you've got the opportunity to get away from the stress and still make the same money,
right,
why wouldn't you?
Well, and we use Kirby Smart as an example. And the Falcons are going to reach out to him. And, I don't think it's a secret that, their organization has been kind of in disarray. And really since they lost the Super Bowl, blew it, had the monumental historic collapse against New England. And they're looking for a guy that can come in. And, I think, and I told Randy this, I said, I think in 2019, in 2020, Kirby Smart doesn't even entertain an offer from Atlanta. But now, even with Georgia being one of the top programs in the country and top recruiting schools every year, and a team that won 29 in a row until they lost to Alabama, and two-time defending national champ, it's the stuff Kirby. I mean, I think David Jones said that even Georgia had 20-something players that left this year.
Right.
I mean, so when you have a team as dominant as them having attrition on their roster,
right.
I mean, even that frustrates even the best of coaches, even the teams that have the top programs. And
yeah, that's never been an aspect of a game that a coach had to worry about, is recruiting his own roster.
Right. Well, it's, Jim, if you're out recruiting and trying to fill holes,
right,
and you're like, okay, here's my roster, here's what I've got coming back, here's where we have needs, so I'm going to go out and attack that. Well, I leave and I go attack that, and I come home, and the places I thought were secure and stable aren't secure and stable anymore because I had about 5 or 6 leave while I was gone.
Right.
So you're constantly trying to supplement and fill holes. And I'm not saying Kirby Smart's leaving. I'm saying that if the Atlanta Falcons came in with a good enough deal in this day and age of college football, of having to navigate the portal, having to coach at the same time, having to recruit high school students, having to maintain his own roster, he may just decide to say, this isn't the college game that I loved 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
It's changed. I don't want to deal with all this junk. I know it's basically another NFL, so if it's another NFL that's the Wild West, I might as well go coach in the NFL where there's at least some regulations.
Right. No, I follow you 100%. The number is what's going to matter. Everybody's got a number in my book. So if you're going to give Kirby 10 at Georgia, if Atlanta gives him 15, then he's going to make the same money in 2 years in Atlanta he would at 3 in Georgia.
Right.
So.
And I think there's something to that, and I think Randy took the opposite end of that. He said, why would you leave Georgia for a couple more, $3 million a year, and especially if you're the top in the country, and that's a valid point too. I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying that I think 3 or 4 years ago Kirby doesn't entertain that. I wouldn't be shocked tomorrow if he decided to take the Atlanta Falcons. That's how much college football has changed in the last 3 or 4 years, and how much it's frustrated even the best coaches in the country right now.
Oh, yeah. I follow both of you. Both of you have valid arguments on what could happen. I just foresee that it being, if the number's right, it'd be easy to walk away.
So what, in your mind, in your opinion, if you could only change one thing going into next year, what is the one thing you would like to see changed in college football going into next year?
I would say the portal itself. I'm not against
it. In what way?
I'm not against it as a whole, because I think it's great that a kid that maybe had a medical problem or his mom and daddy had issues and he needed to come back home, give that kid a chance to move,
right.
Or if he's graduated, whatever. I'm saying let's change the part of you can jump around all these times you want to jump around.
Right.
And let's get on top of that portal to where what you and I were talking about a little bit off of air, there needs to be a value on these players.
Right.
And you don't get to go jump in the portal because Alabama could give a receiver $500,000 and Auburn can give him $250,000. That shouldn't how that works. We should all be on the same playing field if we're going to play fair.
The whole gist of NIL, the way it was originally designed was the right way. For a kid to be able to go out and make money off of his name, image, and likeness.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
We all knew immediately when that happened, that's not how it was going to be used.
No.
That was the cover up of what universities were going to really do, and use that as, through the collective, incentive money and contractual money for them to come play football for them. It was not supposed to be pay for play. But it is pay for play.
I think Coach Sanders over at Colorado, I heard an interview with him early in the year, said it perfectly. We went away from what it was designed because we are offering money. He said, I will not give $1 million to a kid that's going to come to Colorado for name, image, and likeness because they have no damn name. They have no likeness. If they ain't caught a ball or threw a pass in college, I ain't paying them.
Well, I think that's the whole gist of what I was saying earlier today, in the fact that the thing's flipped up on its head when you're offering a kid coming out of high school before they've even made a play at the college level multiple millions of dollars. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come in there and have an impact.
Sure.
But this has changed the whole dynamic of what it was supposed to be. But now you don't have a governing body with any teeth. They never had any teeth anyway. But the NCAA is laughed at so much by all these universities now. It's the Wild West. They know there's nothing they can do. When was the last time you heard of a kid being academically ineligible. With all this flipping and flopping around and moving from school to school, it's not even entertained anymore. It's not even brought up anymore. It's a kind of an insignificant point. So with all that being said, I hear what you're saying about NIL. I think, or the transfer portal, I think the transfer portal should not open until the season is over.
Okay.
You cannot have free agency going on, and that's what this is right now.
So now, if you're going to open it once, when would you open it? Spring?
I'm going to open it right after the season is over.
Okay.
And I'm going to close it. I don't know how long I'm going to leave it open.
Before spring starts?
Well, before spring. You make a decision on where you're going to go between basically the dead period.
Right.
From the last game of the year to the first football spring practice, which normally some of them even start now in early March. Maybe give them from January to the 1st of March. And you got 2 months, man, to decide what you want to do. Do you want to stay put, or do you want to go in the portal, or you want to go try to get – and then after that, it's over.
I could agree to that.
I mean, because you can't have
we got
free agency going on while the season's going on.
I think that scenario right there affected Auburn this year is because that portal was open twice. You didn't get Peyton until late in the cycle.
Right.
He got in here, had no spring, had very few fall practices, and then we expected him to be a 5-star going in.
Ended up not working anyway.
Yeah.
So let's take another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. A couple segments left in tonight's show. Again, reminder, Auburn basketball coming up at the top of the hour, so we'll be rolling off. We'll be doing a replay of Auburn Blitz from this afternoon on the second hour, so stay tuned to that if you weren't able to watch that. But Auburn basketball will be preempting us tonight. We don't normally run into Auburn basketball at 8 o'clock, but tonight's an 8 o'clock Tuesday night game.
Well, that's a heck of a game down there in Jordan-Hare, you know.
Yeah.
Or Jordan-Hare, Beard Eves.
Hey, you know what? I think they ought to try that one time.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, you've seen Nebraska do I can't remember what they did. They did something in their football. It may have been a basketball game.
Who was it played on the aircraft carrier?
Michigan State and I can't remember who they were playing. Maybe UConn and Michigan State played in that game.
That sounds right.
But yeah, I mean, do something. I mean, how cool would that be I mean, I know that Bruce Pearl would probably be like, I mean, they won't want to play a conference game out there,
Right.
but a preseason game.
Correct.
Like, bring the court out on the Jordan-Hare and put 88,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
Set a record for a basketball game.
Well, and do a local thing where you get a UAB to come to town or a Troy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, just
local.
whoever the non-conference opponent is.
You're talking about making a splash. That'd make a splash.
Oh, man, you talk about fun. Yeah. Hey, maybe we started. You said something. Maybe you started something. Maybe they're listening. But
if you're out there listening, get in Bruce's ear and tell him that.
You don't think the students would eat that up?
Oh, my Lord. Well, I think David was one referred to it in the show that earlier that he got the one time before the students came back this year, he got to get into the student section.
Right.
He won the students. He's like, there's an amazing difference in a bunch of old geezers over there being the students versus when the students
it's not
are
even
there.
close.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still bodies over there,
Right.
but some are more active than
Oh,
others.
yeah,
So
yeah.
some
Hey,
have
look,
more energy.
Look, I was there. I was a cliff dweller.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'd sit over and go crazy.
I know. Those were the good old days.
That was
so
good
we
old
had
days.
some good basketball years when we were in school down there.
Absolutely.
All right, Auburn, talking about some changes. By the way, in Alabama, too, Kevin Steele looks like he's retiring.
Yep.
So Kevin Steele will be out. He's done with football and his career. I mean, and you know what? Great coach.
You either got T-Rob that's going to be their DC or Pruitt. One of the two's fixing to take the job.
You know, and it was rumored that T-Rob would be back at Auburn possibly.
Well,
I don't know.
The only thing that's interesting about the situation, it's almost like Hugh knew all these pieces were about to move before he started pulling. I mean, before we saw it.
Right.
Was he pulled strings and went and got Colorado's DC and put him on our staff already.
I know it.
And we went and got an assistant from Alabama that's got coordinator history and put him on the staff.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got two people that were already in line before these firings ever went on.
Right. Now, again, Philip Montgomery out. Ron Roberts out. Looks like he's going to be named the DC at Florida.
Yeah, co-DC, I think.
Okay, co-DC at Florida.
Yeah.
What other staff changing? I mean, obviously we're hearing a lot of things. I don't think Cadillac and Zach Etheridge end up leaving. It was rumored, pretty heavily toward the end of last week.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when you don't have a good year and you hear and your coordinators get ousted, you start hearing other things about other staff. I just think I don't think there's going to be much past that. Patrick would love to know. I don't think Patrick's watching right now that Andy had him transferring to Ohio State instead of Quinshon Judkins. Patrick, a pretty loyal follower and listener and watcher of the show. So, Patrick, if you happen to be watching right now, Andy had you going to Ohio State. You need to tell us something. But anyway, Quinshon Judkins to Ohio State. That's a pretty big transfer portal move there for.
Yeah.
I mean, Ole Miss, that's their best offensive player last year.
Yeah, I think the scheme that Lane has going over there, it really benefit Quinshon to be in it.
Right.
Gave him some open holes to run in.
Mark said, as long as three guys aren't calling the game in Huntsville like that, man, that was terrible. I agree. Mark also, he said, isn't Iowa's girls playing a game in the football stadium? Well, Caitlin Clark is the best player in the country right now, and I may be including men.
Right.
She is unbelievable. I mean, she's selling out places that have never been sold out before. She's as dynamic a women's player as I've ever seen. And, I think she could easily – you could do something like that with her.
Oh yeah.
And everybody would come and watch. So I don't know that, Mark. I need to look that up. That's the first I'd heard of it. Mike said, I think Kirby Smart is going to the Falcons. Again, it's been a topic all day today on these shows of ours. He's going to get an offer. He's going to hear something from the Falcons. I don't know if it's lucrative enough or monumental enough to change his mind to leave Georgia.
Right.
I do think it has to be something pretty doggone big. But, again, it's all about catching somebody in a moment where they're maybe not having as much fun as they've usually had.
Right.
And I'm not saying catch them in a weak moment, but catch them in a time where they're like, maybe I'm ready to entertain a change.
Right.
Maybe I've done all I can do here,
right.
And things are only going to get more difficult the way I see college football laid out. Maybe I need to go to the NFL and try because it's not like Kirby Smart can't come back to college football.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nick tried it. Jim Harbaugh tried it. They've all been
Steve Spurrier did it.
Yes.
I mean, maybe you want to go see if you can be the next great NFL coach.
Right.
Some have gone on and done it and done well. Others haven't. And you don't have to – and some of the best college coaches, Jim, have gone on to do it and failed. I mean, Nick Saban was not successful. Steve Spurrier was not successful.
No.
I think both of those guys are two of the best to ever do it in college football.
I think I heard one time one of their arguments was we are trying to coach guys that make more than we do.
Right.
And that was hard to argue with.
Might be going on in college now.
Now it's an equal playing field because you're paying guys on both places, so why not
right.
coach one?
And here's the thing, and here's part of this about the NFL versus college that we're talking about that's frustrating. When a guy comes into the NFL and signs a 3-year deal, he's there 3 years.
That's right.
If he signs a 5-year deal, he's there 5 years.
Right.
You don't know next year if your best player in college football is going to be with you or not.
Well, and we used to do that years ago, if you remember. They signed college scholarships. They signed a four-year
Right.
letter of intent.
Right.
Now they don't. They re-sign them every
year.
Yeah.
It's just so unstable.
Right.
I mean, I just think that, again, you tell me how many really good college football coaches there are out there. I mean, are there 10 guys you would like to see at Auburn? I can't name 10. I think Dan Lanning would be good. I think Kirby Smart would be good. I think Nick Saban would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jim Harbaugh would be good. I'm just naming off good top guys. Ryan Day, I think, would be good. But, man, it starts to really get sketchy after about 5 or 6.
Dabo probably.
Maybe. His stock's gone down.
Yeah. He's refusing to use the portal.
Brian Kelly, nothing sets me on fire about Brian Kelly.
He's already proven, which he may go back, but he proved this year to me he's the same Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. He just got a exception.
He's got an upgrade in a roster.
That's correct.
Still only won 9 games.
That's right.
And had the Heisman Trophy winner.
I think he got lucky last year because he took Alabama.
Their defense got worse.
Like one of the worst in the country.
Wasn't Harold Perkins supposed to be one of the top defensive players in the country?
Supposed to be unblockable.
Where did he go?
Right. Nobody ever heard from him.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think it didn't end up being they fired the entire staff.
Whole staff. So, again, somebody has to take the fall.
Yeah.
But you can only do that a couple times before you get axed.
And y'all's friend James that likes to call in all the time, give you a hard time. That's if you remember, Gus took a few offensive coordinators and gave them the fall, for his difficulties.
He ran out of get your offensive coordinator out of jail free cards.
That's right.
And it ended up being him.
Yeah.
All right, final segment of the show coming up right after this.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state. At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live final segment here. Jim, give that update up there again. What was that about the Iowa women's team?
The Iowa women's team opened up their season in the football stadium and had 55,000 plus in attendance.
There you go. So they've already done it.
Well, they hadn't done it in Jordan-Hare. I mean, that's
Auburn hadn't done it. Yeah. Auburn hadn't done it. Right. So, again, I think
now – before you catch that thought right there, is it not Iowa Stadium that you look up there and see the kids in the hospital? Then I'm all for it.
Heck yeah, man. Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
You know, here's the deal. Bruce Pearl's into all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You know, he did the March Madness at Toomer's Corner. The Midnight Madness. Midnight Madness at Toomer's Corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he's into that kind of stuff to kind of bring attention. He's a marketing genius. Hey, look, man, I'm all for stuff like that. And, again, you wouldn't want to play a conference game out there. You wouldn't want to take away from your home environment, Neville Arena. But you daggum sure would look at doing something to raise money for the program or whatever. I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it would be something that he would entertain. Again, a little bit later here in just a few minutes, you'll have Auburn and Texas A&M. On the hardwood, Alabama knocked off. Wow, what in the world? I just saw this. Remember I said it was 30-29 at halftime? Alabama wins 74-47. So you're telling me
30 points.
Yeah, you're telling me that South Carolina scored 17 points
in a whole half.
In the second half?
Yep.
Man, that's unreal.
They couldn't let Auburn win by 30, so they had to do it too.
Well, 74-47, Alabama's offense woke up after a very maligned
now, they
first half.
are in the top 25, correct?
No.
I thought they were just in
Talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
No.
No, they're not in? Okay.
No. They're not in the top 25. Auburn's ranked. There's only 3 ranked teams in the top 25 SEC.
Yeah, Tennessee,
Kentucky.
Auburn, and Kentucky.
That's it.
Okay.
Right. So Auburn jumps 9 spots this past week.
Well, and I told Andy, we sat right here on this show and talked about their very first game after they played Baylor. I don't think they lost to Baylor because they're not as good as Baylor or better. It was first game mistakes that beat them in that game.
They were in a neutral site.
Right.
And, Auburn's played bad twice this year. They played bad at App State and got beat.
Yeah.
Played bad at Baylor. Well, and I'll say they only played bad a half at Baylor.
Yeah,
they came out in the second half up 8.
Right.
And just went in the tank. And so, a game and a half of basketball they've played bad this year. And it's really, it's resulted in 2 losses. So
Mark says since we have no home football games in October next year, that could be pretty awesome. Play a basketball game in the fall.
It'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because basketball, I don't know if basketball actually technically starts in October, so I don't know when they actually can play a game. I think November's when they can. That would be cool, though. Yeah. You're right. We don't have a home football game in Jordan-Hare in October, which is weird the way it kind of plays out. But I think we start off with 5 home games next year.
Good grief.
So kind of like you're all at home, then you're all on the road, then you're all at home again.
Yeah, I hadn't even looked at that. 5 home games.
Yeah, to start the season. So, anyway, Kentucky looks like they're 6 minutes away from going 2-0 in SEC play against Missouri. Missouri not that good, 8-6 on the year. Tomorrow, Mississippi State will host Tennessee. Better watch that. Mississippi State this year, 11-3. I know they're 0-1 in conference, but Tennessee ended Ole Miss's undefeated season this past week, knocking them off. And then Arkansas, who has some soul searching to do, they'll go to Georgia, who's 11-3 and 1-0 in the conference. And then Florida will go to Ole Miss. Florida narrowly missing an upset of Kentucky on Saturday, so they'll be going into Ole Miss with a mindset of knocking off Ole Miss, which would drop them to 0-2 in the conference play. So just in closing, Jim, again, want to remind everybody that we will be moving out here in the second hour. Auburn basketball will start at 8 o'clock, so we'll be getting out of here. We'll be replaying Auburn Blitz here in the second hour. NFL, you watch the playoffs much? The playoffs are set. I'll just say that. The NFC, Packers at Cowboys, Rams at Lions, and Eagles at Buccaneers. The 49ers get the bye. And in the AFC, the Browns will be at the Texans, Dolphins at the Chiefs, Steelers at the Bills. Man, the Bills stormed back, winning 5 in a row to win the division, and big deal. The Ravens get the bye there in the AFC. So playoff football starts this weekend. I like it. I love the NFL playoffs. They're a lot of fun. Wow. Jim, good to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Hour tonight, usually 2, but we'll give way to Bruce Pearl.
Sometimes that's all people can handle.
Yeah, I think so. But glad to see you out here, buddy. Look forward to being back with you again soon. That's going to wrap it up for Sports Blitz Live. Again, Sports Blitz will be back on the air next Tuesday for 2 full hours. Stay tuned. Auburn Blitz coming up in the next hour.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
So you want to build a home, Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans. Then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail. Floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Experience the new standard of comfort in 2024. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika invites you to discover extraordinary deals. Like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali, now available with up to $11,000 off. But that's not all. Purchase the GMC Terrain SLE for as low as $359 a month. Visit Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika or explore these unbeatable offers anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.